It is a football edition of Three Man Front. Welcome back in. Pat Landrum, Molly Conrad with you until 2 o'clock. We'll do Bet It or Forget It coming up at 12:30. Landrum went 4-1 last week. We'll see if he will continue his hot streak against Conrad and Molly. We'll find that out in about 30 minutes from now. ESPN Analytics, they give Alabama a 74% chance of winning the game tomorrow against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Last year, they gave Alabama a 92% chance to beat Vanderbilt. So I'm just want to throw that caveat out there. We told you yesterday that Kelly Ford's ratings got Alabama as an 82% chance of winning against Vanderbilt tomorrow. The point spread has not moved. It is still 10.5 for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
It depends on how the game goes. But if we're here Monday morning and we're talking about another Alabama loss to Vanderbilt, I think Alabama wins the game, but where does that go? Where does the conversation turn?
I get to paint his face.
Okay, well but
we're having the same conversations we had after Florida State.
Okay,
yeah.
I would think that would make it even worse. You knew it. You circled it. There's a lot of build up. Nobody's overlooking anybody. Home stadium.
Well, and just like last year, the worst part about that, I think, is that it, at least for most of the fan base, I think it completely erases the Georgia game. That win does not mean anything to you anymore. It's nothing. And just like last year.
Well, and it doesn't bode well for so-called revenge games.
No, and I'll be honest. If Vanderbilt wins this game, if I'm a quarterback playing Alabama, I am talking all the trash in the world because it's clearly working. And they're not able to respond to it. So,
because you had a quarterback in the offseason that ran his mouth, and he lived up to it, and he beat you. Now you've got a so-called revenge game against Vanderbilt, and they come in. If they beat you in your house, where you have been extremely good throughout not only Nick Saban, but even under Kalen DeBoer getting that Georgia win last year. And then you got to go to Mizzou, which is an 11 o'clock kickoff, which that's going to be difficult. Those people are going to be extremely fired up. They're saying it's the biggest on-campus game maybe in the history of the school, taking on Missouri. They will be ready. And they got a really good team. And then you got another revenge game coming up later in the season against Oklahoma. And John Mateer by that time will be back and he'll be healthy.
This is such a brutal stretch, though, for Vanderbilt because after Alabama, they got LSU at home, Missouri at home, and they're both at home. But then you're at Texas. You get Auburn at home, Kentucky at home, and then at Tennessee to finish the season. 5 of the next 7 games ranked teams right now in the top 25.
Well, it makes up for the Charleston, Southern Virginia Tech, South Carolina, Georgia State, Utah State, the first half of the season.
It does, but, and it's so hard to predict where teams are going to be. But I would have thought going into the season if Vanderbilt was 5-0, given that slate, that's impressive in the way that they've won. I know that they struggled a little bit with Utah State, but they still ended up pulling away and winning by 3 touchdowns. And South Carolina, you can't get any more dominant than what they did. Lenora Sellers are without him. And then Virginia Tech. I don't know. I just look at it differently. I know what you said yesterday, Conrad, but going to Virginia Tech, second game of the season, before you know what Virginia Tech really is, and winning that game by 24, that's an impressive win to me. It's hard to win on the road. You're not as good on the road as you typically are at home.
I agree with that. It's a factual statement.
I can't imagine if they do it again, then we're talking about Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt in the college football playoff.
So this is now twice today. This is now twice. You've done it once and you've done it once.
What? What have we done?
What?
Just setting your little traps.
No, it's not. It's not a trap. This is just discussion, Conrad, about the game.
Going to be a great game.
What could happen?
Vanderbilt's a good team. A lot of respect for them.
Well, we asked our listeners this morning, Molly, on the Twitter poll question of the day, how they think the game is going to end up tomorrow.
Yeah, what is your I ain't scared bold prediction for Vandy and Alabama? Is it the Doors by double digits? Bama ekes out a field goal win? Vandy wins in a close one? Or the Tide destroys the Doors? and right now winning with over 200 votes, with about 66% of our voters saying the Tide will destroy the Doors. That's Conrad and all of his burner accounts. About 18% saying Alabama will eke out a win. 10% saying Vanderbilt will win a close one. And only 6% saying that the Doors will win by double digits.
It's interesting. So 83% of our audience says Alabama will win the game tomorrow. 83%. With 17% saying, not so fast. Doors in an upset.
Yeah, I think Alabama, they're gonna win the football game. If there was going to be a lopsided, I don't think it'll be lopsided, but if somebody was going to win by 2-3 touchdowns, I would predict Alabama to do it. I'm just wondering, Vanderbilt, they try to slow the game because they're really good at systematically working it down the field. Alabama saw that last year. And number 4 in the country in third down conversions. 3 yards on first down, 4 on second, 3 yards, move the chains. Rinse and repeat.
Well, Alabama cannot afford to have them limit them to only 45 plays for the game like they did last year.
No.
Bama did not run a lot of plays. Bama did not have the ball a lot. And Vanderbilt was 12 of 18 on third down. So basically what you saw last weekend in Athens, that's what Vanderbilt did to Alabama last year. Plus, Alabama turned the ball over, which Alabama has not done yet. So, but if you're looking at all the predictions around college football, I have yet to see one person say that Vanderbilt was going to win the game straight up. But I never saw anybody say that Florida State was going to beat Alabama straight up, and it happened.
I remember me picking Alabama to win that game by 18, 19. Was that the spread last year in Nashville? Couldn't believe what I saw when I watched it.
Well, you could tell early on, once things, not so much the pick six, but by Bama not being able to get off the field on third down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could not flip the script, so to speak. By allowing them to continue to churn out first downs and to continue to eat the clock, Alabama literally was going to run out of time because once they got behind and trying to catch up, defense just couldn't make a stop. So that, I mean, to me, that's imperative tomorrow, that Alabama has to get out to a fast start and be able to put the pressure on Vanderbilt to keep up with them.
No, I agree. I mean, I think that was the difference last year is you imploded on, third downs, you couldn't get off the field, you scored too fast, and you lost the turnover battle.
Yeah.
Like if Alabama last year, if they played an average game, they win that game. Now this year I think you have to play better than average because I think Vanderbilt is better, but if you can fix those things, it can be a high-scoring game, it can be a close game, but I feel really good about Alabama unless they implode in one or multiple of those areas, which is always likely.
And they're taking care of the ball. A turnover, you can't have that show up tomorrow where you start turning the ball over. Short field, if Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt are to score, make them earn every single dang yard.
Well, and I think it's fair. Ty Simpson's been incredible, right? And I would think that he seems mentally strong enough to overcome it. But what happens when that guy turns the ball over for the first time? Because it's going to happen. But does he have that short memory to go back out there and forget that play? Or do you start to see, maybe some doubt starts to creep in once you make that first big mistake that he's avoided so far?
If we're going psychology right now, do you think Vanderbilt, they have the mentality it's us against the world? Or is there just an expectation now with that program, we're going to go down there and we're going to win?
I think there's an expectation. I don't think it's we're just the little train that could. I mean, I
don't think they view themselves as underdogs.
No, and I don't think it's just speak. I think they truly believe that.
No, and they should. I mean, they're a good football team.
They are.
So I don't think that they can come in with that. It's a little Vanderbilt, little chip on her shoulder. Okay, hopefully we can have a game at halftime. No, I mean, they're coming here because they're going to win the game. That's their philosophy. That's the mentality of their coach. That's the mentality of their football team. And just like I think with Alabama, I don't think it's a case of, we're going to get back at Vanderbilt. I mean, these rosters just change over too much now. I just don't think that that's even a thing anymore. We've got to go out there and, pay them back. Do this, do that. For Alabama has to stack multiple games of good football right behind each other for this team to potentially be in the position that they need to be in November?
I think this is how I look at it. And so I don't know, maybe the majority of the fan base doesn't feel this way. But when you look ahead for what's at Alabama, all right, if you take care of business here, if you go, I mean, that win over Missouri would be impressive next week on the road. And then you have Tennessee. If you are somehow able to get through these next 3 games and you still have a 6-1 record, I think that's when people really start to believe. Not that they don't believe now, but that's when you start to say, all right, we're avoiding some of these pitfalls now. Maybe this isn't going to be quite like last year. And you start to really believe that, okay, not only is this a team that can maybe be in the conversation, but this is a team that will be in the playoff and should be viewed as one of the handful of teams that can actually win a national championship. But that is 3 big ifs against top 25 teams before the month of October is over.
Yeah. I mean, it's
and
tough.
then you have South Carolina on the road after that, who that's not going to be a cakewalk either.
Yeah. I mean, the whole SEC schedule. I mean,
It's tough for everyone.
We talked about it before the season even began. I remember, Brett Norsworthy in his first pass through of all of the games and the predictions, he had no SEC team with 10 wins. And you know what? You start looking at the SEC schedule.
Honestly, it doesn't look that crazy now.
No, it doesn't. Because we got to get out of the mentality. I mean, you have to start thinking about this like the NFL. Like you can't think about, oh, we got to be perfect, because it's not perfect anymore. You're going to be awarded by having multiple losses to some really bad teams. Just like last year, Alabama, if they had not lost to Oklahoma, they would have gone to the college football playoff. So that's what Alabama has to do. Alabama just has to stack wins on top of each other. And I think this will be big for the whole psychology of the team if you're able to come off a huge win and take care of business the next week.
Yes.
Because that is one of the things that people will bring up about Kalen DeBoer in Tuscaloosa, that he has not shown the ability to do that yet.
No, I think that's valid, and I think also part of the psychology of it plays into how the game ultimately turns out, because Kalen DeBoer's, I think he's a very good coach, but you even go back to when he went to a national championship game at Washington. A lot of the games that year they had to sweat those games out. They weren't beating teams 42-14.
Go look at 7 points or less wins that he had at Washington.
Yeah, it was the majority of his big games were one possession games, and I think for a game like this, I'm not saying that if you only win by a touchdown, it's a disappointment, because a win is a win, but I think people also want to see at some point, all right, can you kind of step on someone's neck a little bit, right? Can you assert the dominance, or is it just going to be, all right, we're winning these games, but man, it is one bounce of the ball the other way, and that's a loss for us.
But based on what you've seen in the Southeastern Conference this year, do you really feel like that there is a team that is going to be able to impose their will on another SEC team?
No.
I don't.
Not particularly, no.
No.
There's not a Alabama in its heyday under Nick Saban. There's not a Georgia 21 or 22.
I'm trying to think of one
there
across the country that I think is that team.
You have a top 10 team in Texas this week playing a 1-3 Florida team, and I've seen that line down as low as 5.5 points. They were playing a bad Florida team, and they're a top 10 team, and it's a 5-point spread.
Yeah.
What's crazy is the Mississippi State at Texas A&M spread. Why is that such a big number?
Yeah, why did you not put that in Bet It or Forget It, Pat? That felt like an easy one.
Pat is already like 3 moves ahead of you.
No, I know.
He's setting something up.
Got another Tua list coming up.
Oh, boy. All right, we're going to get to your text line, and we're also going to take your phone calls. 1-800-239-WJOX, courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450. Bet It or Forget It coming up at 12:30.
12:18, the Friday edition of Three Man Front. We'll continue with your phone calls. Better to forget it. Coming up 12 minutes from right now. Dialing in. 800-239-WJOX, our buddy Crimson Convict. Hey, CC, what's up?
Hey, boys, how y'all doing?
We're doing great. Hope you are.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Listen, first of all, I can't imagine Conrad can even walk to the bathroom without finding a rope on his foot with all the pat pits and the Landrum traps that y'all try to lay for that young man. I'm still riding with you, brother. I got you back, but
I appreciate it.
I do have you're welcome, brother. I do have a question though. What SEC team besides Texas, and I'd like to know how they were able to evade a schedule like that, but which one doesn't have a gauntlet ahead of them? I mean, Bama's got 5 ranked teams coming up. Vanderbilt's got 5 ranked teams coming up. I mean, everybody does. I was telling Conrad, I mean, there's basically 12 teams in the SEC. If you don't have your excrement straight on that Saturday, you might catch an L.
Yes.
4 or 5.
I agree.
Is this the most even SEC, Crimson Convict? I'll let you finish, but is this the most even that you've seen so far? I think it is for me. And I don't think it necessarily means the SEC's down. I think you just got a lot of really good teams.
No, I think it's just the opposite. And top to bottom, yeah. I mean, you've been top heavy some years with maybe three or four that could basically give you some trouble. But no, I've never seen it this balanced, and it's just the day and age we live in now. But I'm interested to get your opinions, Pat and Landrum, if Alabama can run the football, which they have proven they cannot do this year. But if Alabama can run the football and make Vanderbilt stack the box, I don't see how Vanderbilt can win this game, because I don't think their secondary can keep up with our passing game.
I don't either. No, I don't either. And that's where Clark Lee comes in, and that's where I said if Alabama, if they can't go hat for hat, he's been very, very good at scheming, whether it's on the defensive side of the ball or their offensive brain trust doing that and making up for any lack of talent. But, Alabama running the football, but do you think – I know they're going to attempt to, but at this point in the season, I feel like Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb know what they're really good at. So
I'm sure they do.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm sure they do, man. But at the same time, I mean, if you're going to go through this gauntlet at some point in time, you're going to have to find a ground game.
No doubt.
All right, guys. Appreciate y'all.
All right. Thank you, Crimson Convict. Let's go to Samuel. Samuel, welcome in.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Love the show.
Thank you.
Tomorrow's game is going to be very stressful because last time we played Vanderbilt, we lost. So it's going to probably be on the edge of your seat the whole time. It could be a very back-and-forth game, but it could also be a really fun game. Hopefully Bama will win, but we'll never know.
Are you really nervous, Samuel?
Absolutely.
Do you have any weird game day rituals like Conrad?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have a score prediction you'd like to give us?
No. Last time I did that, we lost.
Okay. All right. So,
I've been banned from doing it.
All right. Bama. So you think Bama wins? You just don't want to give a prediction, or just no prediction at all?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Bama wins.
All right. Well, Samuel, we appreciate you listening. Thanks for chiming in. Have a great weekend.
You're welcome.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Text line is open as well. 205-834-9450. Who picks ESPN Game Day pickers? This text. Pat, would that be production team?
Absolutely. The executive producer.
Matthew Seals says James Spann should be the guest picker. Okay. Why is Conrad such a weenie? That's endearing, right?
Did you make that up, or did someone actually text that in?
No, I'm trying to open it up right now. But yeah, why is Conrad such a weenie? Can you at least try to learn to change a tire?
I will throw this out. I will give him some credit. He cannot change a tire, but he did assist Paige with a dead battery.
Yeah, I got to save the day. I had to go jump my wife's car off. I know how to do that. Everybody,
I thought you were going to say he pulled out a pack of Duracell AA's and put them back in there.
Oh, they wouldn't fit, right? Thought I had to get more.
So you helped her with a battery.
Yes, I know.
That's good.
I know how to jumpstart a car.
Okay, so you jump started. Have you ever replaced a battery?
No, I've never had to.
Okay.
But I will be learning how to do that this weekend, I imagine.
All right.
It
So
seems pretty simple.
when are we going to do the tire thing?
I will work on that down the road. Maybe the guy that called me a weenie can teach me how to change a tire. I would appreciate the help. I need it.
This one coming in, a little tailgating advice. Landrum, what's the key to perfecting the perfect wings? Help me out. I'm a big fan of brine. I think that brine makes all the difference in the world. It's going to break down some stuff that just makes it more tender, juicy, flavorful, locks it all in. So find you a good brine. There's a million different ways that you can brine chicken wings. And then I like to go with a dry rub. And there's so many different ways that you can do it. Typically, I would smoke mine. But if you want to do like a quick flash fry, smoke them and then just give them that crisp on the outside, you can do that as well. Appreciate the question. Sean says, I guess I'm the unicorn fan, guys. I'm as big of a Bama fan that you'll meet, but I'm realistic. I still doubt this coaching staff because of what I see on the field. The lack of in-game adjustments, the hard-headedness of running the ball in the 1 and 2 holes continuously when it's not working. The personnel groupings on the field, the lack of fundamentals on defense. I could go on and on. Yes, some players are playing up to expectations, and that's to be praised, but the coaching still seems to be broken. Thanks. Appreciate it, Sean. Bama is undefeated when me and my wife attend. Bama stomps a mud hole, stone cold style, 42-21.
42-21. A lot of scoring, a lot of points.
I feel like we've gotten, as the week has progressed, more people predicting Alabama to win big than we had earlier in the week.
I get frustrated with all the Vandy talk.
Like you did.
Understandably so.
All that
You and Mark Ingram.
taxation on your brain, your emotions. Like, I'm not wasting that on Vanderbilt. This is ridiculous.
Well, Mark called me last night and said, hey, do you mind if I steal that bit for this podcast I'm about to hop on? I said, sure, Mark. From one Bama guy to another.
Robert texts, Alabama wins 45-31. Alabama passing game takes advantage of Vandy's vulnerable secondary. Defense gets turnovers. Does UAB football have any key injuries? Not that I know of. Hope not. Josh asking, how many Big Ten teams would be competitive against Alabama on a neutral site? Just curious what y'all think.
I'm sorry, can you read that again?
What Big Ten teams would be competitive against Alabama on a neutral site?
Well, I think it goes without saying it'd be Ohio State and Oregon right off the top of the head.
Yeah. I think to some degree. Which Alabama are we getting? I think Indiana could be competitive. Nebraska,
Yeah.
probably not so much.
Set you up for that.
I don't
one.
disagree.
What would be the line on a neutral site? Bama, Nebraska. Bama by 28?
Probably.
No, I think Bama 12.5.
I was going to say like 10 and a
Maybe like
half, 11
2
and a half.
touchdown.
10 and a half?
Yeah.
It'd be much higher than that.
I'd go
You think
higher.
so?
Absolutely. All right, so
Hopefully we don't see that game.
might see it in the Music City.
Yeah, I was about to say we'll be
That's
watching
good
it in
news for Molly.
Nashville.
That's really bad news for Conrad.
Yeah. So one of the major topics of discussion has been the guest picker tomorrow. Well, Reese Davis, a University of Alabama alum, he just spoke to the media minutes ago, and he kind of gave us a behind-the-scenes discussion on how the guest picker is chosen.
I think I just answered that. He's Theo Vaughn. He answers, and also I haven't heard anybody complain about Nick being up there every week. You know, I mean, so and not that. I mean, Nick is going to play it and tell you what he thinks, and he might pick against Alabama tomorrow or any other time. He's got the right to do that, and he might. But if you're talking association, is there anyone more associated with Alabama than Nick Saban? You know, so I don't think the he's able to do his job without any problem, because of past association. And if Theo is, I don't really know the update. I don't know if Theo is dating Diego's mom or if that's real or not, but if he is, I'm sure he can still make his picks and have some fun. And also the crowd can have some fun going, boo, Theo Vaughn, we don't like it that you're dating Diego Pavia's mom. So, I'm being very tongue-in-cheek about this. We're delighted to have Theo Vaughn because he's a big-time star. And if there are some people who would prefer to see a former player, I understand that, and they have a right to think that, and I respect that, and it's understandable. But you're also talking about one segment of the show where guys are picking games, and if we knew the outcomes of the game, and we're always writing our picks, we'd be living in giant palatial estates in arid regions. We would own Las Vegas, so it's fun. I love the fact that people are passionate enough to be unhappy about it, but at the same time, it's fun. They're picking games, and Theo Vaughn is in the business of fun, for the most part. So it's, I understand, but at the same time, I think if you take a half step back and kind of look at it, that it's like, it's okay. It's really okay.
I don't think anybody's going to be there or at home watching that and going, you know what? I hadn't decided if I'm going to watch the game, but I'm waiting to see who Theo Vaughn picks.
I think that's fair. I'm just going to say this. If you want to take the Nick Saban argument, if he's up there every week and he represents the university, that's fine. I understand that. Then why are you picking former players for every other school that you go to? That's my issue with that you're upset that you don't have a former player. Then why are you having Trae Young come out at Oklahoma? Why is Candace Parker the picker at Tennessee? Why is C.J. Stroud coming back and doing Ohio State? If it's only about having a big name, then you would go and get a random celebrity every week. Go have the freaking Rock. Go have Kevin Hart on there. They've done that before. It just feels like you're picking and choosing, and for whatever reason now this has happened multiple times with Alabama, where you're picking somebody, not only somebody that's not affiliated with the school, but somebody that's affiliated with the opponent that is traveling to their campus. I'm sorry, I think that's a bad excuse from Reese Davis. If you're going to give that treatment to Alabama, then don't have Trae Young come out for Oklahoma. Go get Shane Gillis to do it. Go get Joe Rogan to do it. Go get Matthew McConaughey to do it for not a Texas game. Because if all that matters is having big stars on there, why are you catering to all these other programs and these other universities and then saying for Alabama, well, sorry, we just went and got the biggest star? That's a bunch of crap. I'm sorry.
All right, we will do Bet It or Forget It straight ahead here on Three Man Front. Each and every week on the show, we get 5 games. I give to Landrum, Conrad, and Molly against the spread. So far this season, Landrum leads the group. He is 20-10. He went 4-1 against the spread last week. Molly and Conrad both are tied with a 17-13 record. So here we go. Let's get started. This is Bet It or Forget It.
The following is for entertainment purposes only. Listener discretion is advised.
3-man fronts. Bet it or forget it.
All right, game number 1. Let's go to the site where Alabama threw up on itself in week 1. Doak Campbell Stadium will be the site as the Miami Hurricanes, a 4.5-point favorite, 55.5. That's the point total against the Seminoles. In the series, the visitor is 8-3 against the spread in the last 11 games. Florida State had won 3 straight in the Sunshine State Showdown, and all 4 of Florida State's games this season have gone easily over the total. So let's start with the leader in the clubhouse right now, Landrum. Miami, a 4.5-point favorite, 55.5 is the point total.
Tomorrow's date is October the 4th. These two teams have met one other time on October the 4th, and it came back in 1997. Doak Campbell was the site of that game as well. Florida State, they were pretty good that year. You remember the Bobby Bowden years. The final score of that game, 47-0. Seminoles. I like FSU to bounce back. I actually think that they win this game straight up. Mario's going to Mario. Give me FSU plus the 4.5.
All right, Conrad, play it. You going to forget it?
Oh, no, I'm going to play it, Pat. And I'm not quite where Landrum is right now, but I do think Florida State has a nice bounce back in them. I think they're certainly going to be able to score. We've seen they have one of the best offenses in college football. But I do also think that Miami has shown that they are one of the 2 or 3 best teams in college football up to this point in the season. Going on the road is going to be tough. Doak Campbell's going to be rocking. We saw how big the crowd played and impacted that Alabama matchup. So I think Florida State is going to keep it close. I think Miami ultimately wins the game close, maybe a field goal, but I like Florida State to cover the 4.5 as well.
How about you, Molly?
I like what both of you guys said about Florida State, and I do agree with Landrum that Mario's going to Mario. That was funny. I actually like the over in this one, though. I think a lot of points are going to be scored. So the overs have hit in 8 of Florida State's last 12 home games, all as ranked teams again since 2020, I believe, under Mike Norvell. And same thing, Florida State, most of their games, I think it's 7 of the last 9 have gone over when it's been against a top 10 opponent. So I like a lot of points. I like some offense. Give me the over.
All right, next game. The Michigan State Spartans are taking on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska is an 11.5-point favorite. 51.5 is the point total. Michigan State, they are on a 2-7 spread run, with the visitor in this series 16-3 against the spread. Nebraska's last 3 games have gone over the respective totals by an average of 12.5 points per game. Michigan State's last 3 games have gone over their respective totals by an average of 22 points per game. So let's start with Conrad. You going to bet it or forget it?
Oh, I'm going to bet it, Pat. The craziest part about this matchup is for a second, just a second, I really thought about taking the over at a Big Ten game. I really thought, because I think Dylan Raiola's looked pretty sharp. I think Aiden Childs has looked pretty sharp for Michigan State as well. Both teams have been able to score. But that just means that it's going to be a 1-possession game for the Cornhuskers. So I think Nebraska's going to pull it out, but I like Michigan State to cover plus the 11.5.
All right, how about you, Molly?
I respect you, Conrad, but I'm going to go full homer here. I think Nebraska's going to win. I think they're going to win comfortably. I think they're going to cover. Spartan, Martin, whatever. Give me the Cornhuskers.
How about you, Landrum?
Spartan Martin.
After what Nebraska did to the 2 of us, Pat, earlier this season,
it's devastating.
They could be playing UMass.
And you wouldn't bet on them?
No. Way too many points in this one. Sparty coming off the bye week.
So is Nebraska.
I think the bye week actually helps them because they're playing at home. And you mentioned that. Nebraska coming off of it. Equalizer. Home game. Green uniforms. Spartan. Win. Plus the 11.5. Give me Michigan State.
All right, let's go to the Swamp. Texas, a 6.5-point favorite. 42.5 is the point total. Texas has a huge edge as the number one defense in the country in yards per play. Meanwhile, Florida has the number 118th offense in college football. Dating back to the end of last season, the Gators' last 8 games have all stayed under the total. Florida's last 3 games have stayed under the respective totals by an average of 19.8 points per game. So let's start with you, Molly. You going to bet it or forget it?
I'm going to bet it, Pat. And like you said, I mean, Texas, their defense has been lights out this season. And I actually like the under in this one. I think that this is just an awful game. I think it's going to be a snooze fest, especially from what we've seen from Florida. And I'm staying away from the spread because this could be one of those, I guess, tricky ones, depending on how DJ Lagway looks. So I think the safe bet here is the under, so that's what I'm going to take.
Landrum, bet it or forget it?
I guess I'm going to bet it, Pat. Echoes some of the things that Molly said. 42.5, though. Oh, that's like an Iowa-Nebraska total in November.
Not quite. That was like 24.5.
Yeah. I'll go total on this one. And this would be the game. They both score 30 points. But I will go under as well, the 42.5.
Conrad, are you going to follow your teammates and take the under, or are you going to take a side?
Yeah, so I like to do this every week now is I'll pick one and say this is my easiest pick of the week. This is my easiest pick of the week. It's got to be the under. It would be such a surprise if you hit the over. If it was maybe a 7.5 point spread, I would maybe take Florida there because I think it will be a close game. But Molly laid it out. Texas has arguably the best defense in the country. Florida's defense really sharp as well, but just not sold on either of these offenses. So, yeah, I like the under.
All right, next one. Back between the hedges. Athens, Georgia, the side of Kentucky and the Bulldogs. Georgia, a 20.5 point favorite. Point total is 48.5. Did you realize when Kirby Smart is laying 20 points as the favorite in SEC play, he's 0-7 against the spread?
Good night.
Georgia has a 15-game win streak in the series with Kentucky. Kentucky, they've covered the spread in 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams. And here's another really eye-popping stat for you. Since beating Clemson in last year's opener, the Georgia Bulldogs have gone 3-13-1 against the spread. Let's start with Landrum. You going to bet it or forget it?
I'd rather you just not read those right before.
I mean, you've completely made me second guess myself now.
Oh.
Did I mention that Kirby's 0-7 against SEC opponents when he's laying 20 points?
Yes, Pat,
That's
thank you. You did mention that.
awful.
Okay, just want to make sure you heard me.
That's
I feel like
brutal.
me and Landrum maybe had the exact same pick, and now we're both second guessing.
Dadgummit. Oh, I will go. You know what? I'm going to go under the total.
Man, he's taking the Molly approach.
Yeah, you sound
the
like
last
me.
2 games.
I don't trust
like it, though.
Kentucky at all. But the Kirby Smart trend, that's something to pay attention to. I could see this being
20 to nothing, and he doesn't cover the half point.
31-7.
And then you just remember what happened last year, and you're like, God.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go under. I'll stick under.
All right. How about you, Conrad?
I'm gonna act like you didn't say anything for the last minute, Pat. And I'm gonna stick with my gut. What I was rolling into this segment with for my prediction, because there's 2 teams in college football you don't want to play with a chip on their shoulder: Alabama and Georgia. And sure. So I'm going to stick with it. There's a first time for everything, right? They'll snap the streak eventually. I like Georgia. I think they're a little ticked off. Want to remind everybody just how good they are. So give me Georgia minus the 20.5.
Molly.
I'm going to be totally honest. If I could forget a game, this is the game I would forget. Mainly because of everything Pat just said.
Fair.
But you know what? I'm going to roll with Kentucky, I guess.
There you go.
I'm very hesitant about that, but...
Wow, so we all picked. So I have Georgia, you have Kentucky, and you have the under.
There you go.
I like that.
All right, here we go. The final game of the week.
Woo!
Vandy at Bama. Bama a 10.5-point favorite. 56.5 is the point total. Do you realize that this is the first time since 1937 that both Vanderbilt and Alabama are ranked when they play each other? Crazy. 1937. Vandy is on a 10-3 spread run, as well as 8-2 in their last 10 games against the spread in the Southeastern Conference. Since losing to Florida State in the opener, Bama, though, they have won and covered its last 3 games. So let's start with Molly. We'll save Conrad for last.
Similar to the Miami-Florida State game, I like the over here. I know that's so not Molly for always taking the under. But, I mean, Vanderbilt, they're kind of, they're in some uncharted territory. They're 5-0. They're ranked against Alabama. Like you said, it was the first time since
37 that both teams are
since 37.
ranked.
And I think that Vanderbilt obviously is going to go into this game extremely confident. We know Diego Pavia will. He's got all the swagger and whatnot. I do like Alabama to win, but I do think that this is going to be a higher scoring game. So give me the over.
Landrum.
Can I tease this game?
No.
It'd be great if I could. That quarterback from Vanderbilt, how many seasons were we on? Like 7 for Diego? Seems like it. He's definitely made his mark, but he's writing checks that his rear end can't cash. Unfortunately, Conrad, he has overdraft protection. Give me the over as well.
Yes!
All right, you're up there, Lugnut.
Come on, little lug nut.
You come to our house, we show you how to play some SEC ball. It don't matter where you from. You're going to know what ball we play. We're going to next week ranked. That's fine. Alabama, you're next.
Oh, I don't know where that came from.
Thank
Sorry.
you for bringing that back.
I apologize. I don't know where that came from. All right, y'all both took the over. All right, well, I was going to take the over as well because that seems like the smart play here. But in the essence of maybe making up a little bit of ground, and that clip just got me fired up in the last 30 seconds, give me Alabama to cover. Leave no doubt on the field tomorrow. I think Alabama wins 38-24. I think Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt keep it close.
Wait, what happened to the
first half.
52-17 prediction you said yesterday?
That was a joke, Pat.
Oh.
Was it?
I never know with you.
That's the allure of me. So, yeah, I'm going 38-24. Alabama over Vanderbilt. I think it's a good game in the first half, but Alabama comes out in the second half and kind of takes over. So,
Whitetail buck deer.
Munching on clover.
There you go.
Munch, munch, munch.
Is that what they say?
Yeah, that's what you. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what the crowd says.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not. I never heard Randy Owens sing that.
All right, that's this week's Bet It or Forget It. Best of luck to my teammates.
Thank you. How many am I up in the standings?
Let's see. You are up by 3 games.
Okay.
You're 20-10.
All right.
Good
Molly
job,
and Conrad 17
Tough
and
spreads.
13.
Really
I'm
tough
just glad I'm
spreads.
above
And there is
500.
something to be said as you get further in the season. I think part of it is what we think about teams and our perception changes, but also Vegas, they really dial in and they know where to get money on equal sides.
They sure do.
Really good at that. They ought to go into business.
They should. Good future.
We'll continue this Friday here on 3-Man Front. Your texts, your phone calls are welcome.
It is 12:51. Welcome back in on this Football Friday. Pat Landrum, Molly Conrad with you until 2 o'clock. Coming up in about 10 minutes from now, Kyle Parmalee from Starnes Media. He'll kind of give us a preview of tonight's action around high school football. This is week 7 of the high school football season. We are literally less than a month away from the actual high school playoffs starting, so we'll be here right around the corner.
Well, we were talking about how difficult Alabama's schedule is going to be coming up. We were talking about that earlier in the show. And one of those difficult games is going to be a road trip to take on South Carolina. And wouldn't you like to be there to take it all in? Well, if you find yourself in that boat, us right here at Jocks and our friends at Total Sports Travel are going to give you the chance to see Alabama and South Carolina do battle up there in Columbia later this month. All you have to do to win is you're going to text in the keyword TIDE, TIDE, to 205-834-9450. Again, text in the keyword TIDE, like Crimson Tide, TIDE, to 205-834-9450. One lucky winner is going to score a trip for 2, including round-trip airfare, a 2-night stay at the Ryder Hotel in Charleston, 2 tickets to the Alabama-South Carolina game, and transportation to and from the stadium. Again, text the keyword TIDE to 205-834-9450 to enter, and don't miss your shot at the ultimate game day experience, courtesy of Total Sports Travel and your home for college football, Jocks.
So ESPN's College Game Day will be in Tuscaloosa this weekend. This is the 60th overall appearance on the ESPN pregame show by the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Tide, they have a record of 38-21 in the 59 previous appearances. If you remember, Game Day traveled to the UA campus last season with the matchup with Georgia, in which the Tide won that game 41-34. So this will be the 60th appearance on College Game Day by the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, Nick Saban, he tended to have teams that garnered a lot of attention, didn't he?
Yeah, multiple times every year.
Yeah. So Conrad, they've cycled through all of the pickers that they can think about. They've had it so many times.
Has Julio Jones been on there?
Does Julio want to be on there?
CJ Mosley?
Maybe they did reach out to both of those guys and they weren't available.
And it's fair because Julio, from what I understand, he's always been very reserved.
Amari Cooper? Mac Jones?
These are questions you should be asking ESPN, but also...
I got about 80 more players I can go through here if we want to do that. Again, my whole point just being, and maybe they have reached out to these guys and they've said no, and if that's the case, then that's fine. And I'm proven wrong.
Do they typically go former players with guest pickers, though?
No, I gave you guys an example. It was one Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa because I remember being on the game day bus with him, having a great conversation about baseball. It was Jake Peavy, who was just coming off a World Series with the Boston Red Sox. He went and played at South Alabama, lives in South Alabama, and just being an Alabama guy, not a University of Alabama guy, but an Alabama resident, he was picked to be the guest picker that day for College Game Day, and that was the Iron Bowl.
But at least it's someone affiliated with the state. Where, again, it's not an Alabama or Auburn person in particular, but I guess that's part of it, too, is it's just Theo Vaughn has no ties whatsoever to the game, the state of Alabama. From what I know, he's not a Vanderbilt fan. He's just a fan of Diego's mom. So, that's kind of my whole thing is, go get somebody from the state. I don't care.
But in the eyes of ESPN, I'm not defending them. I'm just trying to think of it from both perspectives. You find somebody that does have the ties to Alabama. Are they a big enough name nationally?
Oh, no. I think it's very fair to say Theo Vaughn is a bigger draw than any former Alabama player you would get from the national audience. That is very fair. And that's what they're doing, and that's fine.
Your texts, your phone calls, welcome in the next hour. Kyle Parmalee, huge high school slate coming up tonight. He's next.